you do if you have a ton of cool ideas in your head, but you just can't seem to play them when you need to? What do you do when you have it all lined up in there, and then when you try to play, it's like you fall short all the time, especially when you're trying to solo real time? Well, there's a very simple reason for that, but we don't see it because we don't have the right analogy, the right thing to compare guitar playing with. So we get confused. But if you compare, the ability to play with the ability to talk or speak any language, it becomes really clear what the problem is. Because if I don't know a language if I don't master it, and I have to do a speech, then I'll keep forgetting words. I'll keep searching and probing for words that I don't really remember just instantly. And perhaps I can do it. Perhaps I can sit down and write a story, but I can't do it real time. So I can sit down and write a solo, but I can't improvise real time because there isn't a fast enough access to the resources I need when I improvise because I haven't mastered the tools I use yet, right? If you use only one note when you solo, and you can use that one note throughout the solo, it's going to be a tad boring perhaps, but then you master that note completely, and so you don't have to search and probe for anything, right? But you want more notes, you want to use more notes, right? And that's where the problem comes in, and the same thing goes for talking. It took me a long time to be able to speak like I do now in English. I could write the language, I could read it, but I had to practice a lot, and I had to search and probe for all those words I use today until they were automatic. And you have to do the same thing here. You have to realize that the reason why it's not some complex thing with your brain it's simply because you have too few things you master, or you're trying to use stuff that you don't master. So you cannot play the things in your head. When you come to the point where you master everything you do and your brain and your hands, your skills, your abilities, and what you hear in your head are so much in sync, then suddenly you can play anything you hear. But that takes some time, right? But the best piece of advice I can give you in that journey is, for instance, when you solo, just drop the things you hear in your head and instead use very simple tools, like I spoke about in the previous video. But then in the longer run here, what you can do is you can focus on what you master. What do you master right now? And you might say nothing, but everyone masters something, right? If you've been playing for a couple of months even, or like a year on your instrument, what do you play each and every time you pick up your guitar? It used to be this for me. I played that hundreds of thousands of times because it was the first lick I learned, just basically the blues scale and a little detail in the end there. And the things you usually play when you pick up your instrument is part of the bundle of stuff you master, and you need to expand that. Instead of, always focusing on different things and going on to something new whenever you're good at something, you need to stay with it long enough to make it something that is so easy that you can play it even though you're really nervous or you're sick or have a fever. It doesn't matter because it's just an automated pattern in your fingers. When you take it to that level, then you can really talk about being able to speak. It's like when I'm speaking now. It's just a flow of things. I have an intention to say something, and then by pure magic it happens. Because all the patterns, the skills of being able to talk are in my brain. And the same thing goes here. But so you focus on putting new things into that bundle of mastery. And mastery means effortless. Really, totally, 1000% effortless. No straining, no stressing. It's as easy as doing nothing, basically, right? And you increase that bundle by simply repeating loops of sequences of chords. Instead of stopping when you're good at 2 chords like this, you just keep on going. So you're able to play them twice as fast as you ever would need to. Because that's mastery. Then suddenly you can think of other things, right? Grinning at your team players, or right? And connecting with the audience as you play, or focusing on really getting them to sound in the best way possible. And instead of just moving on to something new all the time, you stay with things long enough for you to add them to your bundle of stuff you master. And then gradually that snowball grows and grows and grows. And then you can suddenly play what's in your mind, and instantly